guys, it's Jen. As you continue on your reframing journey, I'd like you to take a few minutes to reflect on, journal about, pray on, or meditate on this prompt. I am ready to commit and take myself to the next level. What do I want? I am ready to commit to the next step. What does that look like? It was 3 years ago, right before COVID, I realized that I was going to need a change. I had no idea what that looked like, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay status quo forever. My oldest was mid-8th grade and about to go to high school. It's funny looking at it through my eyes today. At that point, that was such a huge deal for us. Leaving his small Catholic school, entering the big, bad, mean world of a 2,000-person public high school. The stress that it brought us both is actually kind of funny in retrospect. We were scared of the unknown future and sad to give up what we knew so well. Now my daughter is at the same point, and she and I cannot get her there fast enough because we're so excited for her and for the change. I was concerned that he wasn't ready, but I was really concerned that I wasn't ready for what I knew it meant for me. It felt like when you're on a roller coaster, that first hill, how it takes so long to get to the top. But once you see that first cart go over, it's full speed ahead. No slowing down, just acceleration, getting faster and faster until you stop with a harsh jerk as they inevitably slam on the brakes back in the station. For the 13 years prior, we had been chugging along up the hill. It was so physically and emotionally exhausting. Every day was just chugging along, plugging up that hill, raising 3 kids, which we all know is a full-time job, and balancing a thankfully flexible yet still demanding full-time job, while still trying to find time and energy to look out and process and enjoy the view. But at that point, I started to see the first car of the coaster train about to go over the hill, and I knew what happens next. And I'm going to tell you, I was 100% right. We just keep picking up speed as we've already now flown down that first hill, and we are riding on the full coaster now. The ups and the downs, the twists and the turns, even a loop or two. It's going so very fast. He's now at the same point in his junior year, and I'm taking my youngest to tour the high school tonight. Back then, I had a feeling of what was ahead. Although really, I guess I didn't, because back in February of 2020, none of us could ever have guessed how it was going to go, right? But at least I did anticipate the speed that time was going to fly by at. I also have been on enough roller coasters to know how this ends. The harsh and abrupt slam on the brakes, the wow, that was totally amazing, as they're rushing you off, hurrying to gather up all of your stuff and figure out how to get out of the safety belt, climb out of the cart. Now, what's next? I knew that I'd be asking the same at the end of this roller coaster. What's next? And if I waited until I got to the station and my youngest was going off to college, I knew that I would be a total mess. What would I do with myself? How would I fill the void? I had absolutely no idea, but I knew that I needed to start to think. Well, then COVID, so I had a lot more time to reflect than I had ever anticipated. I reinvigorated journaling and committed to a daily meditation practice in an effort to calm my anxious pandemic mind. One day at a time, one reflection at a time, my mind got clearer and clearer. And then pieces just somehow started falling into place. Eventually, it took some time. It was post-COVID at this point. I knew exactly what I was being called to do. And when I look back, the path was so clear that it's really hard to believe that it actually required that much self-discovery to get through. But I guess that's the process, right? Hindsight and all. Regardless, though, each step since has been hard to commit to for me. I ordered my few pieces of equipment, and then I let them sit in boxes for weeks because opening them seemed like a commitment that I wasn't ready for. I was super hesitant to tell even my family because I was afraid they'd think it was silly. And once I said the words out loud, I would commit to making it real. I eventually told the kids, and I waited a few weeks longer to tell my husband my plans because I know him and he'd have 1,000 helpful questions that I knew if I didn't have answers to, personally, I'd take it as this is a stupid idea and it's never going to work. I might as well not even try. Rather than that's a great question that I need to figure out an answer to. Like I should respond. And thankfully, I think like I would respond to those questions now. It took quite some time for me to commit to making the first episodes. So I decided to kick that can down the curb and just start with the name and logo, which seemed like a good, fairly loose commitment to the project. I shared my plans with only 2 other friends. One who is my oldest, still close friend, who is the person who I bounce all of my crazy ideas off of. So really, after over 20 years, what's one more at this point? And the other was my super close, super non-judgy, always supportive friend who happened to fit my intended audience to a T. So she is literally my OG on this. Once I finally started creating content and then publishing it, it then took me 3 full months to tell a single soul who I knew IRL that I was doing this, because that would be the biggest commitment of them all. Once it was out there, it was out there. My kids are super empathetic. And because of that, I know that they worry about me. They recognize how big the role they play in my life is. And I know that they worry about what I'm going to do with myself when they're grown. Yesterday, my oldest asked me, "What's your plan for the future?" It was a strange and startling question coming from a 16-year-old, and I'm pretty sure that I'm the one who is supposed to be asking him that question. But I was proud to have an answer. I was happy that I have done the introspection and taken the steps to get me to a place that I do actually have an answer. What do I want? 3 years ago, when I started this journey, I did not have an answer. And now I do. I am ready to commit to the next step. What does that look like? Well, for me at this point, my next step is to continue creating content and work on growing our community of listeners. So that means I've started doing research on how exactly do you even do that? Consistently, everything I see and read says a couple of the same things over and over, but once again, I have been hesitant to commit. So that's what I'm doing today. I am committing to my next step. Apparently, I need to publish on a schedule. I guess my current format of when I feel like I have something to say and actually have time to say it is not a valid publishing strategy. Who knew? Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I am committing to as I've heard it called, come hell or high water, you have content published schedule of Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So that makes today our first official Manifestation Monday, Jen is Zen episode. What better way to start your week than with a reflection, right? So today on this first Manifestation Monday, I'd love for you to do the same. Take a step towards manifesting what you want, who you want to be. What is your plan for the future? I know that you are ready to commit with me to take yourself to the next level. So today, in your reflections, meditations, or prayers, I want you to ask, what do I want? I am ready to commit to the next step. What does that look like? For me, my next step is committing to publishing new content for you. So Manifestation Mondays with Jen is Zen. I haven't come up with a cutesy fun name for Wednesdays yet, but I'll publish just for me content. And we'll wrap up the week with a full episode on FamilyCom Fridays. Cute, right? Thank you so much for listening. Now, here's the other part that everyone says I should be doing. And while I kind of am, I know that I've been doing it, I guess, half-hearted. And I know that I definitely have shown my fear of commitment by not pushing it enough. If you enjoy the podcast, please share it with others. I know that this is how the community will grow. Whether it's our reflections or the family content, if you think that there is something in here that someone would benefit from and enjoy, please take a second to share it with them. And please, if you love it, go in, rate and review the show, and subscribe and follow the show so you don't miss new content. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm asking so much of you, but I'm committed, and all of the podcast experts are saying I need to ask all of these things from you. I feel so needy. Sorry, needy, but committed, right? I'd love for you to reach out to me on socials. Follow me at Reframing Me on Instagram and on TikTok, and on Facebook, it's Reframing Me, and join the Facebook group Reframing Me, a podcast community. Until next time, be well, communicate, and commit to your next step.